this down before I click the start recording button, so I'll start over. I'm assuming that y equals minus x squared minus 6x minus 10 is what is intended here. There's no y in the question, and you're supposed to complete the square to put this equation for a parabola into vertex form so you can identify the vertex. So one technique is to collect the first two terms and make sure that the leading coefficient of x squared is a +1. So we factor out a -1 from those first two terms. And we kind of leave that constant term out to the right here. And now that allows us to complete the square on this expression right here. How do we do that? This is like ax squared plus bx plus c to complete the square when the leading coefficient of ax squared, or the letter a, is equal to 1. We take half of b, half of 6 is 3, and then square it. 3 squared is 9. Now here's the tricky part. Because of this minus sign out here, we really just ended up subtracting 9 from the right-hand side of the equal sign. Because if we redistributed this minus sign, we get a -9 here. So to keep everything in balance, we have to add 9 out to the right of the -10. And if you simplified everything that we have right here, you'd end up right back where we started, because the -9 and the +9 would combine to 0. And that step of adding this, putting this 9 here, that's completing the square. How do we write x squared plus 6x plus 9 as a binomial squared? We take the square root of 9, or half of the 6, and put it in the parentheses. X plus 3, the quantity squared, is the binomial that you square to get this perfect square trinomial. And up here, I've written the formula for a parabola. It's in vertex form. A times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. When it's written like this, the vertex is at hk. So you don't have to write it like this, but to help you visualize it, x plus 3 I rewrote as x minus a -3, the quantity squared, so that this minus sign matches this minus sign in the formula. So the vertex is at -3, -1. This minus out front doesn't affect where the vertex is located. All it does is reflect the graph downward. So this is a downward opening parabola. Okay, if I share my screen and go to Desmos, y equals the opposite of x squared minus 6x minus 10. There's the vertex at 3, -1, -3, -1, and it's a downward opening parabola. And we could put it in vertex form. Y equals the opposite of x plus 3, opposite of x plus 3, quantity squared, -1. It's the same function. So we've got two different forms for the same parabola. Okay, there you go. Hope that cleared things up for you.